Here it is, the last one in the fan edition lineup, the Tab S9 FE Plus. This is our review after spending almost a month with it. Hello everyone, Daniel here for SamMobile TV. We've had a month with this. It's an interesting one, the fan edition tablet. I am a Tab S9 Ultra user. I take advantage of that thing. I use it like a laptop. I have the keyboard. It's my computer at times when I need it to. So I found that the concept of reviewing the Tab S9 FE Plus quite interesting. So again, as I did with the phone, I tried to put myself in the shoes of the buyer who would use this, because it's a tablet that isn't meant for intense workflows. Its design is to give people functionality at a price point that is a lot more palatable compared to the Ultra is. So I went with that. So we're going to focus on how this thing performs when it comes to design and display, looking at the entertainment side of things as well within that. Then I'm going to take a bit of a look at the software that is running on this, and then finish off with the performance, because it is using the Exynos 13, not the Exynos 2200 from the S23 FE. Let's start with design. I think with the design of this thing, I kind of said a lot of it in the hands-on that I did a couple of weeks ago. It's actually quite impressive. It's lightweight enough. It's got the aluminium body, and I do like that. It feels quite nice and premium on the back. So from a design standpoint, I'm pretty happy with how it's held up. And in usage, you know, for entertainment and holding it for long periods of time, it's not too bad. It's actually quite enjoyable. The display is kind of where I shift my opinion a little bit. Now, I'm very used to dynamic AMOLED, Super AMOLED screens that give me that vibrant, deep blacks, contrast, stuff that really makes your videos and your images pop off the screen. So to go to an LCD panel gives me a little bit of a downgrade in that sense. But I will say it's actually quite an enjoyable display. There's something about LCD that shouldn't be discounted just because it's not AMOLED. It's a bit flatter in its image, but I think that kind of lends itself to making everything kind of seem uniformed. I don't hate it. And also in operation, the display with its 90 Hertz adaptive refresh rate is smooth and operational enough that you're not gonna feel like it's lagging or slowing down when you're interacting with it. So for the combination of both those two things, like you can see now watching content on it, the aspect ratio is quite nice too. 16:10 lends itself to entertainment, which I kind of like. Productivity is not too bad as well. When you have things like two apps side by side, this display will show them in a nice light. So yeah, I don't mind it. It's just, you need to be aware that if you're going into this expecting Samsung's tip-top displays, you're not going to get it. Part of the design is the speaker output. Samsung, with the display, you haven't quite got the top tier, and the same can be said with the speakers. Yes, you do get sound by AKG. However, it's a dual speaker setup. That's on paper. In execution, Samsung have done a really good job. I am actually impressed with the output that you get. It's clear and it's loud, and if you're watching a lot of media, this could be the one. Have a listen. Let's get into the cameras. This review is not a deep dive into the cameras themselves. They may come up in terms of specs, but it's not the focus. The focus here is on the output and performance of these cameras. Now we move on to software. And I think what's really impressive with software is Samsung don't tend to skimp out just because you're not spending the full hog of their devices. So this gets things like the taskbar, which for me is the best bit of software Samsung has added to their larger displays in recent times. The fact that you have this docked down the bottom, I like that when it's on your home screen, it's not there. And then when you launch into an app, it kind of smoothly transitions to a bar down the bottom, and it keeps those apps there, plus introduces up to 4 recent apps on the other side. The taskbar just makes operating a device of this size so much nicer, because you get, you know, multitasking out of the box with Samsung really, really intuitively. The taskbar just lends itself to that. Dragging and dropping apps into place is something that means that you can enjoy content on one side, for example, and put something on the other. If you wanted to put this into portrait orientation, YouTube at the top actually makes a lot of sense. And it's something I do quite a bit in my devices like this, is I do have YouTube across that top half, and I use the bottom half for other things. Just something to consider, that the software is not somewhere you're going to miss out on here. Especially too, because you have Samsung DeX on the device. You do not get Samsung DeX to be able to cast wirelessly to a TV or monitor, or through a cable. That's a bit of a letdown. I will say that not that I use DeX every day, but having the option to cast it to a TV, for example, is something I do quite regularly. So not having that on the Tab S9 FE Plus does impact my usage. However, you still have Smart View. So if what you do is cast stuff to monitors and TVs for entertainment purposes, you aren't really missing out. There is still a way to do it. So you might not even care that DeX doesn't do that. So that is still here on the Tab S9 FE Plus. Other things to do with the software too is you have the S Pen. It is not the same S Pen that you get bundled with the Tab S9 full-fledged series. It is the version that is passive, which, as we're coming to learn now, doesn't require a charge to work. You know, Apple Pencil be damned, you need to charge that thing to do anything with it. This S Pen that comes with this, you don't need to worry about it. So in that sense, it's a real joy to use. So make of that what you will. The last aspect here is performance. It's disappointing again for someone like me to come from Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, Exynos 2200 to go to Exynos 1380. But again, channeling the user of this tablet, that performance output is enough. You are not going to need more. This is the thing. You don't need to have a device that has everything. If you want that, Samsung have it. It's called the Tab S9 Ultra. But if you don't need that, that's where you come and spend this money on this thing. That's where I kind of understand from a business strategy level, performance output is perfectly capable, especially when you consider that it has a 10,090 milliamp hour battery inside the FE Plus. I don't have the smaller one. That is an 8,000, which will be even better. But for a screen size that's 12.4 inches and has a lower powered display and a lower powered processor, this battery goes. It is a very strong battery user with the Tab S9 FE Plus. Other thing I really actually liked is that Samsung made this IP68. They've been consistent in their design approach. It's another one of those industry standards that Samsung has made sure that their devices have. Did take them a while with the tablets though, I will say that. You've also got 45-watt fast charging. And for a tablet, that is just the best thing ever. Honestly, I remember the days with the Tab S2 that they would charge insanely slow. So having 45-watt fast charging on a tablet and with a tablet too, because it's not something you use every day or in every part of the day, sometimes it might go days without being used and the battery will just kind of sip away and then you need it for something. Having 45-watt fast charging means that it will top up fast enough to get you through the activity that you need it for. So yes, that's part of the performance package and you'll be perfectly capable with it. The thing is, the Tab S9 FE Plus, it's not meant to be Samsung's best. And that's okay, because you still get a lot of Samsung's core features in here. You still get the S Pen. You still get the center-placed ultra-wide camera on the front, which is in landscape orientation too, so it's perfect for video calling. You still get the 45-watt fast charging. You still get IP68 water resistance. You still have on-device Samsung DeX. You still have things like Taskbar. Samsung makes sure that the core tablet experience is still here. You just missed out on some of the hardware functionality and the hardware extras you get out of things like the Ultra or the standard Tab S9 series. That is it for the Tab S9 FE Plus. We've just picked up the Galaxy Smart Tags. I will be reviewing these across a trip to Italy. Make sure you subscribe for that. Stick around for SamMobile TV because we have a lot more planned. Come find us on our website as well. We have all of our Samsung content on there and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks.